Hey, welcome back to the Contemplation Cafe. This is Paul, your host, as always, inviting you to come inside, pull up a chair, and have a think or two. And boy, oh boy, have we got a bunch to get to today. We call this a prophetic update that works. We'll kind of look at what's going on and how that applies to what we see in the Bible. I'll spoil it for you now. A, Jesus said there will be days like these. And B, what we're seeing is certainly validating God's word like never before. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do current events and then we'll kind of put it into some other context. Of course, Russia, Ukraine going at it. That's scaring a lot of people. Between that, rumors, probably not a rumor, China wanting to move against Taiwan, Iran wanting to move against Israel. We have all the ingredients in that part of the world for World War III. All it takes is one thing, one something. World War I started off with an assassination, and it all broke loose. So again, we're just whatever that one thing is, we're one thing away. All it takes is one thing, and then the whole world is going to get into it. Literally, the whole world this time. And with so many people with biological weapons and chemical weapons and nuclear weapons on top of the bombs and the bullets, we'll see warfare like we've never seen it before. And when it happens, that's when we start looking at Revelation 6 and those seals on that scroll. First four are all related to that kind of war, right? So we have the first guy is war, not the Antichrist, because, and I'm going to say this is why. If the first rider is a him or a person, then the other three should be a person too. But the other three certainly are not a person. They're concepts. They're a thing. So the first rider also is a thing. It's warfare. And that rider goes off on a white horse, conquering and to conquer. But then right behind that, what comes with warfare? Sickness, disease, famine, pestilence, economic issues, and death. Boom. There's your four seals. Boom, 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 boom. All in a row, all in one shot. And if World War III breaks out and people start lobbing these other armaments back and forth, you can certainly bet your bottom dollar that's where it's going to go. Is that Ezekiel 38? I don't think so. Russia's getting handed to them pretty badly over there. And I can't see at this point how they're thinking, hey, way down south in Israel, they dwell in unwalled villages and it's kind of cool and nice down there. And we should just go down there. We're broke. We need some money. Let's go get them and go rob them. I don't see it happening. Not that. It could be something else, but I'm not putting my money on that one. But nonetheless, Revelation 6 and those seals lines right up with what Jesus was saying in Matthew 24 with wars and rumors of wars and nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So we're seeing that stuff happening. Other events going on, and this is a little more kind of behind the curtain. It's starting to come out of the curtain. There's an organization called the World Economic Forum. They're headquartered overseas somewhere, and they've been cooking this stuff up behind the curtain for a long time. And now it's starting to bubble up to the surface and people are going, hey, what are you guys doing over there? So here it goes in a teeny nutshell. I'm leaving it all here for you to read. That's your homework assignment, to trust but verify. This organization, it's a non-governmental organization or an NGO. They are intertwined and enmeshed with multiple world governments, captains of industries, the largest companies, the largest banks, the largest investment groups. They're connected. They're just like Hydra. They're just this monster that's everywhere. Cut off one head and two more take its place. They're like Hydra, the super secret organization that was hiding in plain sight. That's what these guys are like. Their goal is the application of Marxism on a global scale without firing a single shot and by sidestepping the normal legislative process that governments would go through to enact such a thing. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty scary on the other hand. But that's their ultimate goal, is to take Marxism and apply it on a global scale, reset all the world's economies, in the process resetting the governments, resetting currency, resetting identification, and turning this into a one world government with a one world currency and a one world identification system for tracking everybody everywhere all the time. Surprise! So if you ever wondered what the one world government would look like, this is what it's going to look like. It's coming. Their goal is to roll this out, however they do it, by 2030. That's their go live date, 2030. So now let's go. Oh, and part of this, what they're doing here too, we already talked about it with the microchips. Well, these folks have been working on digital IDs. The COVID passport was just a little sampling of that. People overseas especially got tired of hauling papers around and stuff. Came out with a digital passport and they said, yeah, you betcha, and they all jumped onto it. Now they're going to digital IDs. So now you don't need to carry a driver's license or a passport book. Now there's an app for that. This is me. And you marry that with a microchip, you now have a way to identify and to track everybody everywhere all the time, coming and going. They can't buy or sell anything without it. On top of that, they have this little thing which is called social credit score. It's a ESG. It stands for environment, social, governance. So basically, if you support what the government supports and you're a good citizen, you have access to money. You have access to credit. You have access to a mortgage or to a car note. If you are not a good citizen, if you don't support things that support the environment, if you don't support social causes, if you don't support what the government says you should support, and you are in opposition to the government, they will just go with your social credit and cut off your access to your money, cut off your access to being able to buy, to sell, to travel, to everything. You will be a penniless social outcast. We saw this happen in Canada, right? Just a little while ago. The government gave itself emergency powers and basically shut off everyone's access to money. That kind of ends a movement of any kind real quick when you can't buy food. Yep, they did that and no one stopped them. That was the worst part. Nobody stopped them. Thank God we live here in the U.S. and we have a thing called the Second Amendment, which people are trying furiously to get rid of, because the Second Amendment is the failsafe that says that if the government goes crazy, we can apply the Second Amendment, throw the bums out, and reinstall a government that serves the people and not serves itself or serves somebody else. But that's what it's there for. A little history lesson there. Don't let them fool you in the classroom. That's really what it's there for. It's not just about going hunting. No, it's about throwing over the tyrants. If someone gets into office that's kooky, remember, who did they have to look at? King George, who went nuts, who went insane. Yeah, we need to safeguard that. So we're going to put the Second Amendment in the Constitution. That's what it's there for. Anyways, moving on. Antichrist is going to only rule for 42 months, right? We got that in Revelation 13. He is given authority to continue for 42 months. And you stop and you go, hey, wait a minute, but the tribulation week is 7 years long. He brokers his peace agreement. It's 7 years. How come he's only a year and a half? This is how it works. 7 years, right? Daniel's 70th week of years. Now, Antichrist is over here doing his thing, still wearing his mask. He's the guy. People love him. He's a hero. He's whatever. Can't do anything wrong. Has all the answers. Persuasive. Devilish good looks. He's all that in a bag of chips. Oversees the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem. Everyone's happy. He's a hero. He brought peace to the Middle East. He's done this. He's done that. He's great. Midway, he breaks that agreement. stands up in the temple, abolishes the sacrifice, announces that he's God, demands to be worshipped, the mask of the dark side's fallen, and everyone goes, it's the devil in disguise. But the problem is, so many people will be enthralled and enwrapped with this person that they won't care. It'll be, oh, who is like the beast? Who can make war with him? And at that point, he basically, it's open season on anyone that dares to defy him. So in 3.5 years, he can't build a one world government. He can't build a one world economy. He can't cook up this mark of the beast that everyone has to take so they can be tracked coming and going and everywhere else. He just can't do it. But ta-da, courtesy of the World Economic Forum, they'll have it all put in place and ready to go. And all he has to do is assume control. I don't know if he's going to seize it by force or they're going to give it to him because they just love him so much. They just bow down and kiss his feet. I don't know. Looking at Revelation, you've got that creature with the 10 horns, but then 3 of them get ripped out, and then this little horn pops up, which is Antichrist. So I think maybe he takes it. That there's some confederation at that time that basically he takes 3 of those and out you go, I'm taking over. But this is his one world government. This is his one world economy. This is his way to ensure that people can't buy or sell or do anything else without the mark of the beast. And it's happening. People in this country are trying to enact legislation to stop this stuff from being implemented. They're being stymied at every turn. This is a very well-funded, well-connected organization, and they've got lawyers and lobbyists and whatever, and they're using all manner of tactics to get people to not oppose what they want to do. So again, their target date's 2030. That's just a few years down the road. I really hope at this point that the pre-tribulation rapture view is the correct interpretation of end-time events. If not, I think very shortly we then are going to see what's known as the falling away or the great apostasy of the church. Because at that point, people will become disillusioned. On the one hand, they'll feel they've been lied to by Pastor so-and-so that swore up and down this is how it's going to be. You have your thorny ground believers. When the sun comes up, persecution for the sake of the word, they're going to fall away. And then the thorny ground believers who will be choked out by the deceitfulness of riches and the cares of this life, they will become unfruitful. And Jesus in John 15 says that any branch in me that does not bear fruit, that God will cut it out and throw it into the fire and be burned. So I think that's what's coming. I wanted to just real quickly round up current events, put them into the scriptural context of end time events and see where we really are. And it sounds like, folks, that we are just right around the corner from Daniel's 70th week of years. It's coming. It's coming fast, like a train out of control. It's coming fast. And I can just encourage you to get into God's word like you never did before, be in prayer like never before, be in community with one another like never before, because that's our job, right? We need to assemble together as often as we can to encourage one another. We're going to need it because we have to get through this together. I don't want anyone to be caught unawares by these things. I pray on a regular basis that God would open our eyes, that we can see what's happening. It's a proverb that a wise man sees calamity coming and gets out of the way. The foolish person does nothing and gets destroyed. And we don't want to be that foolish person. We don't want to be that one that says, well, nobody told me. We don't want to be that person. We want to be the one that says, aha, I see you. And we make our preparations accordingly. So a lot to contemplate there, a lot to chew on, a lot to think about, a lot to pray about. And with that, thanks for stopping by the Contemplation Cafe, and we'll see you again next time.